When Marquez was born, they told me that he has a deformity. The deformity was in the feet, and he was transferred to the bigger hospital in Jamaica. 2 weeks after, they start to put him in the cast because they see that he has the club foot, so they were trying to correct it. And his case was very hard. So that's when they recommend me to come to the States, that I should take him there and see if they can give him more assistance. So I make the appointment to Nicholas Hospital, and Dr. Baitner started to do the casting, and then I started to see a lot of progression. And then he told me, Mommy, that they're going to do a surgery.
A clubfoot basically is a condition that a baby would be born with. Sometimes it's in one foot, sometimes it's in both. And it's a severe deformity of the foot, where the foot is in multiple different positions that are abnormal. And when he came in to see me, if you imagine that this is what a normal foot should look like, he basically was walking like this on the outer part of his feet. His feet were completely twisted inwards to the point that he almost wasn't able to wear normal types of shoes.
I was trying hard to see if I could get any help, but so far I wasn't successful in the first half. And then, because financial wise, I'll be honest, I stopped coming to the hospital. Then my son was going to school and he was falling. You know, he don't want to go out there, period, because he was embarrassed of the feet. So I went back to Dr. Baitner. I called and make an appointment, and I went back there. And when I went back to the appointment, I tell him, okay, I see if I can get family help. I sell some stuff that I have in Jamaica. I don't know if that's gonna be if it's gonna be enough.
There are methods that can be done to help to correct the problem. We do manipulations on the infants when they're a couple of weeks old. We put them into casts. We change those casts on a weekly basis. In his case, he was so severe and he was so many years out from his relapse recurring that we couldn't just do the basic methods of trying to slowly manipulate the feet. So the first management that we did with Marquez was we did weeks and weeks of casting, not to treat the deformity, but at least to make the deformity a little bit more flexible, a little bit more supple, so that ultimately when we would have to go in and do the surgery, it would make the surgery, let's call it, a little bit easier.
And when I make the appointment for the surgery, then I get a call from Nicholas Hospital, and they said that they would assist me to see if they could find a donor. And then it was successful. They called me that they get a donor. When they told me that, I literally have tears of joy. But my son, when I told him, Marcus, looks like you're going to do the surgery, you could see the change on my son, the happiness. You know, as a kid, he understands that he's going to have a different experience in walking.
So unfortunately, in his case, in order to do the operation, we basically had to take apart a lot of the foot and ankle itself and really release a ton of scar tissue that had developed inside of the foot. Some of the tendons that he had in there didn't look like they were functional at all. We had to take some of the tendons that he had and release them completely. Other tendons we had to cut and lengthen those tendons so that they could go back into a more normal type of position and function the way that we wanted them to. If you can imagine that two bones of the foot that are supposed to be aligned like this, he had bones that were aligned somewhere over here. And so we really had to release a lot of the tissue around those two bones just to get the joint back to where we wanted it to be. So what he has to expect going forward over the next number of months is going to be a fair amount of physical therapy, kind of retraining his body how to walk, retraining some of those tendons that we operated on how to function in their new position, strengthening those muscles again, because there's tendons and muscles that he basically hasn't been using for years of his life. And when you've been walking on the side of your foot for so long, you almost have to retrain your body in terms of, how do I balance on one foot? How do I strengthen that one foot? And that's where the physical therapy is going to come into play. The special brace that he's going to wear is going to be something that he'll be able to maintain his foot in, but we're also going to want him to take his foot out of the brace and start moving it as normally as possible.
From me and my son, that we thank you for what you guys are doing, because You change his life so much that you guys wouldn't even understand how much you make us happy inside, and we can smile and the kids can smile as well.